And it's live. Okay.
Okay.
B1 to you, Brother John Public. Hello, this is Dr. Randy Short, and this is a super duper Super Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Cinco de Mayo, uh, Junkanoo, Caravana, Carnival, Mardi Gras, Coon Buster segment with Brother Curtis Scoon. And we already had a segment where it didn't go live and it shut down. But I want to say this very quickly, and I'm going to just do this all over again. Mr. Curtis Scoon is a Renaissance man from the hood who's come up the rough side of the mountain. And now he's taking a monorail that's platinum plated down to help us. So those that want to be helped, because some of our asses need to drown like they did for Noah's Ark. And he's a person who's been in the music world, knows the film world, knows education, counseling, urban politics, consulting, advising. Dude's looking at every, he's got a green thumb, and I don't know if he's growing any weed, but if he did, it'd probably be a really good brand. So that's my CBD request in advance if he should get anything like that. But
Hmm.
just a good brother who's got a lot of knowledge. I mean, so much until he doesn't like talking about himself. Unlike me, people that don't do not much, they could tell you a million things about themselves. People that do a lot don't want to say much because they don't want you to steal their trade secrets. But I got Curtis here, Curtis Scoon. And by the way, I just want to tell y'all, Scoon is a big, prominent ass um, I think what is it, Grenadian last name. So he acts all humble. He come from like super bushy, high yellow people that run stuff now in the Caribbean, but he's up here. But he's a B1. He's not one of those little nasty people that from the islands that if you don't eat their little pies and shit and cocoa bread, they just want to kill you. Or if you do try to get down and eat the stuff, well, you eat the bones when you eat our goat. When they don't eat the bones, they see you choke. He's a good brother. I mean, just a good person. So we're going to do this all over again. And again, I gave my finger to the deep state, two peace signs. We're going to get some peace out of this. I don't want Joe Biden to get peace because he likes kids. But, oops, no, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to behave. I'm not going to say anything because he's a businessman and they'll punish. It's really it's really kind of jacked up being Randy Short. People will be mad at someone who never said anything that I said just to get at me. They'll be mean, so I'll be obedient. I will control myself and not make any statements that he has to uh, answer for me later. It's amazing. If you don't understand, interview me directly. I'm not a liar. I would tell you what the real deal is. So, you know, but no, this brother, I mean, he was on what's that show? The Breakfast Club, and they were about to serve him bacon and eggs because he got so much respect. Normally, they don't give nobody shit except bullshit, or if they give you love if you're kind of a shallow type black person. But Curtis and Asia Norris, a wonderful sister that he works with. Shout out. Love you, Asia. You're one of the few light skinned sisters. I just love you. You're just got your head together and you got an eagle eye. There wouldn't be any salmon if all the eagles could see like you did. I mean, those things wouldn't make it upstream. So, God bless you. Thank you for what you do with Curtis and top of the line food chain. Let me just say to you, Curtis Scoon has a phenomenal film on Vimeo on demand and on Amazon Prime called Black, White, and Blue. He was crazy enough to have me in it for about 7 minutes. You need to release the whole thing, dude. I'm just telling you, a special cut of me going in on Black Lives Matter. We kind of need this stuff for what they did in this election. And I stand by every damn thing I said, especially about John Lewis. And now, when people die, it doesn't change me. I liked John Lewis as a person, but as a politician, he left a lot to be desired. Um, He died the same day as my friend CT Vivian. And the last conversation I had with CT Vivian, I had him, even with dementia, pissed with John Lewis. He was going to call John Lewis and go off on him. I didn't let him do it because I respect my elders.
Mhm.
But this Curtis Scoon brother, what can I say? I mean, this dude was, he was at the birth of hip hop. He's on the cutting edge of independent black film and media. He's at the cutting edge of counseling, working with people who lack access to proper mental health care. He's on the cutting edge of providing STEM education. He's on the cutting edge of independent black politics and consulting. I mean, he's an exceptional leader. And I think he's too. He's from New York, but I think he's between Atlanta, DC, New York, Detroit. You probably have a condo in Vegas. I mean, I don't know. If you ever wanted to see a genuine Renaissance baller, here he is, and it's again, it's an honor to know this brother. I met him. Again, yes, people weren't trying to act right in his documentary, like they didn't want to call out the drag queens and the trans. And I don't know. My parents worked in ministry with gay folk. I had gay family, gay great aunts, all this stuff. I mean, just tell people what the hell I think. I'll tell you one story and I'll go right to Curtis Scoon. We had a friend from St. Louis who was an opera singer, who's very tight with Rock Newman, who acts like he doesn't know me. That's okay, Rock. I've known you since like 1975. You and my dad were friends. That's okay. I mean, I say stuff that y'all can't say because y'all are afraid. Okay. But let me tell you, this is something I did, what, God, 45 years ago. Our friend who's just a flaming gay, flame, 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 flame. Dude could have been a flamethrower on the beaches on D-Day. And I set the table and I gave everybody silverware and china, and I gave him plastic flatware and a styrofoam plate. and, and when we all sat down, he says, my silverware and plate are different from everybody else's, and that's just social sexuality. And and says, I just want to throw your stuff away. I don't know where your mouth has been. And my father says, man, that's wrong. So I had to give him silverware and knife flat. I was 10. I love the man to death, but it was cool to do that. And I still love the man. I mean, his name is Harold D. Lee, and he's like a big brother, but just that stuff is off. And so that's what I was doing 45 years ago. So can you imagine the plates, tables all set up, and one person has all this plastic stuff, and a lot of folks like plastic; they stick it up in themselves. But that's as it is. Okay, so I've always been upfront and honest with people about what I think or I feel, and it is nice to meet a brilliant person, a businessman, a person who can, like I said, he was in the White House eating with Trump. Um, he didn't even tell me what he ate. He didn't bring out a menu. Um, he didn't even steal a spoon or anything to commemorate going. I mean, because he's going to go back. But you're going to see Curtis Scoon again making an impact in Detroit and DC, all over. And I'm just really excited. And so I want to wish peace and blessings. Welcome to who you're going to call Coon Busters. We busting coons. And also, we're celebrating people. So, Curtis Coon, please pardon the technology. Great black man, who are you? Where are you from?
I grew up in New York City. I'm a native New Yorker and
Which borough?
Queens, New York.
Oh, you're from the really nice one. Well,
Yeah, actually, um, I'm from Hollis, Queens,
okay.
and that's about 3 miles from where Donald Trump grew up in Jamaica Estates.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, his area was a lot different than mine, but he was literally on the other side of the train tracks.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, Middle class, when people came up, made some money, they'd move from Brooklyn or Harlem out to Queens and buy a house.
Hmm. Wow. If you would quickly, if you want to give a tribute, your mom, your dad, they had to be about something. If
Uh,
they're not, don't tell, don't do. My father wasn't there. He wasn't there. If he
nah,
didn't bring back the loaf of bread, don't talk about him. But if you can say nice things about your parents, please do.
I mean, I only have nice things to say about my parents,
Praise the Lord.
because what people got to understand, in my opinion, is that your parents, they do the best with what they have most of the times. Sometimes they just don't know better. But my mom she was married when I was born. She was divorced afterwards, and she remarried. So I always had a nuclear family that I was a part of at every stage of my life, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah, I am. She didn't have a lot of money. My dad didn't have a lot of money, but you can't hold those things against people. I think so many of us, we pay too much attention to what other people are doing and what they have. And you got to realize, man, you got to just run your own race in life. And we each have a unique set of challenges because we each have a unique mission and purpose in this world. And it's best to try to understand what your purpose is instead of worrying about everybody else. At least that's my approach to life. Yeah.
Mhm. Wow. You have any siblings?
Yeah. Originally, my father had four sons and two daughters. There's only three boys left and one girl. And my mother, she had another son with my stepfather. Yeah. So those are my siblings. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And now you were in at the beginning of hip hop. You're sort of like a godfather of the genre in your own way.
I,
Be- because Hollis is sort of like Bethlehem for rap,
for commercial rap,
for
yeah.
commercial rap, the kind I like. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yes, I'm biased because everybody knows I'm kind of like a lot of hip hop. If I were dictator of Black America, I would burn all the masters of Juice World. I mean, a lot of these folk would be in jail. I would stand for this stuff. I would shut this down. People would have to have elocution lessons and everything and really learn how to play a real instrument. Okay. I mean, they'd have to have their pants up. Anybody that sagged would be out of the business, right? The same way you can't make any statements about Israel and make it in hip hop. So don't tell me about censorship cones. All right. You can't say nothing about it. And maybe you shouldn't. I'm not mad at people in Israel. I'm almost saying they know who not to offend, right? They shouldn't be offending their own people or their own women or their own men or being from what's that place, a really nice area. Where is it? Come on, Westchester County, acting
Oh
like
yeah.
they're from Bedford Stuyvesant or they're from Fort Greene. You know what I'm saying? I can't stand that. That was the thing I said to Kanye. Please don't come off like a gangster when you know you're a bushy, spoiled ass only child. Please don't do this. Okay.
Mhm.
Anyway, brother. So talk to me. You were there. You knew the people.
Well, I
I mean,
grew up when before I was in New York City before rap even was recorded. Most people think the first rap song was a Sugar Hill Gang, but
mhm.
it really wasn't. There was a song called King Tim the Third by the Fatback Band.
Mm,
That was the first recorded rap as we know it today. had a little verse on there. And then the Sugar Hill Gang came with Rapper's Delight after, which took off mainly because of the track that from Niles Rodgers from Good Times,
Good times, yeah.
which was a disco track. And people don't really understand that rap was very different back then. It wasn't political. It was really like poor man's disco. The kids didn't really have equipment, and so they would use house turntables from inside the home with the parents, and they'd play the records and loop the break beats. And actually, when rap first started, the star of the genre was the DJ, not the rapper. The rapper was more or less intermission, and people wanted to see the DJ mix and cut the records, cut and scratch. So
Mhm,
DJ Flash and Grand Wizard Theodore and a whole bunch of others, Cool Herc, they were actually the stars, and
mhm.
the MCs were more like their sidekicks. But when rap became commercial and the technology came into place, it came into play, the role of the DJ became minimized. Back then, they had what was called like a DAT tape. Sometimes the DJ wouldn't even really mix. If you recall, there was a Tone Loc video where his DJ would have the turntable around his neck, just one turntable, pretending he was mixing, because they
Mhm.
became irrelevant, and the rapper, the vocalist, became the star ahead of the DJ, and DJs became, no longer relevant.
Did you ever do any of that?
I
You
did, I did. I used to DJ. I built speakers. We all did. It was kind of like everything else,
mhm,
a trend. So everyone was DJing and so on and so forth. And Reverend Run, who was a friend of mine as a kid, he would come by my house sometimes and
mhm.
we'd mix and stuff. But we used to walk to school together every day. So I actually remember when he first started getting into rap, he was a DJ as well. His name was DJ Run, and not MC Run, but DJ Run, because he really wanted to be a DJ.
Mhm.
And he started getting on the mic at uh at shows his brother Russell Simmons promoted when he was in college. His brother,
Russell Simmons. Hold on, wait a minute. Russell Simmons is related. I don't. That's how little I follow hip hop.
Run's older brother. Yeah, Russell Rush. That's Reverend Run's older brother. So
Oh,
he
okay.
used, he used to promote college parties when he was in college
Mhm,
at
mhm.
places like the Hotel Diplomat in Times Square and stuff. And I
Wow.
wasn't old enough to go to those parties, but I would know because Run would show me the flyers. They had themes like Terrible Thursdays and Freaky Fridays and stuff like that. And he used to let Run work in the coat check room.
Mhm.
And eventually, Run would get some stage time. One flyer said Curtis Blow and his disco son, DJ Run. You see, and that's the thing about rap. Everybody likes to talk about what's really rap. But again, here they go. They said Curtis Blow and his disco son, DJ Run, because it was kind of like really close to disco, but it wasn't quite disco. It was like poor man's disco. As a matter of fact, one of the most notable hip hop clubs in New York at the time was the Disco Fever in the Bronx.
Mm.
Again, the Disco Fever. And the Fat Boys, their first name was the Disco Three. You see what I'm saying? So when people start talking about what's rap and what's not rap, rap to me has just always been kids making music for kids, kids trying to get in where they could fit in, an adult going on. What adults had going on.
Okay, now you mentioned Nile Rodgers, so you're in part hip hop and rap. Y'all were not going to Studio 54, so that was your version of the Roxy and the club scene and all that was happening in Manhattan.
Yeah, in the beginning, the park jams. We do the park jams, yeah, and bring your equipment to the park and rock until the police come and tell you to stop, because nobody ever really had a permit.
Now
Most times
tell
they'd let you do your thing because they were just glad that they wasn't out there causing trouble. Yeah. New York was
me,
different back then. I got pulled over driving without a license, and the cop just told me like, "Yo, call somebody to come get the car." And he left knowing that I was going to get back in the car and drive off. But that was 1985 or 84. Things are a lot different. It got more strict when Giuliani got in office. Yeah.
I like the first syllable in his name. Anyway, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, someone asked me about the Fat Back Band, and I don't know what the hell that is. Forgive me, and then someone's asking me about hip hop culture versus R&B culture. They're saying that there's a thing called hip hop culture. Why don't we have an R&B culture? And I would disagree with them. I would say that we had an R&B culture. That's for the people who are a little older than myself. We had an R&B culture, and our our community sort of got hacked and hijacked by folks on the West Coast and people with money, and they created a culture that was different from the culture that you had, say, in New York. They took the band instruments out of school. They took a lot of stuff. They took trades and stuff out of the schools, and this was something to do, to have fun, to create, which shows the creativity of our young people. Talk a little bit on that if you could, and then we can move to what you're doing now,
Listen,
business, and so
listen,
forth.
Randy.
Hmm.
Uh, I consider you a friend, and that
Hmm.
means we could talk as long as you want to talk, man. I'm not on a time schedule. Whatever
Okay.
you want to talk about, we could talk about it. But
Well.
as far as the hip hop culture, right?
Mhm.
Um, my take on culture is that you cannot call anything your culture that you don't control.
That's right.
So we don't control hip hop. From the time we did in the 70s, before it became commercialized, and I would call it a fad more so than I'd call it a subculture. Okay.
Subculture. Okay.
Yeah, because it was specific to a certain group within a group, which were the young, the teens and so on. But once commercialization came into play and corporations started dictating which direction it went, it was no longer a culture. It was just a business, and that's all it's been. And I think the claim of rap being a culture is part of the marketing strategy to sell
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
Because what a lot of people don't realize, I don't know what the numbers are today, but about 15, 20 years ago, 85% of rap sales were white kids.
That's right.
And in other words, like anything else, the money wasn't generated from us, but the money was generated because of us. And a lot of white people, and this is not you know, it's not said with any malice, but a lot of white people just don't have a lot of interactions with blacks, and their interaction or exposure to black culture tends to be pop culture, and they think that they're learning about us through movies and music and so on and so forth. But in reality, behind the scenes, the very people dictating that content are white just like them. So what they're getting is a white version of who black people are. And they're thinking that, hey, I know black people. And they have these false expectations when they meet us because we're not like those characters in those songs and videos,
Mm.
so on and so forth. And compounding matters as far as I'm concerned is there are some black people who make a very good living off of playing that role for those corporations.
Well, but they do that in Congress.
Yeah, but
They do,
exactly,
they
that's
do it everywhere. I'm
everything.
not going to pick on. It ain't just the people
Yeah,
in the music business.
it's everything. It's
It,
amazing. It's
but
amazing.
that black folks are Tom too entirely damn much
It's like the
all,
only
all
way
the
you can make
time,
money.
all the time. Oh my God!
The,
Please, Jesus, save me from
it's it's like the only way you can make money that's based on your identity is if you present yourself in the light that makes other people comfortable, the light
as,
that they've
as,
designed for you. You
as a
know,
parody. As a parody, if
as
I
a
am
parody.
a joke, people can deal with us as a living, practical, musical joke. But if I am talking about substantive things. And trust me, what's most disgusting, Curtis Scoon, is you can be in a university, best one in the land, and you're still supposed to be a stupid parody. Even with all the degrees, continue to be a buffoon. I can't deal with you being intelligent. I don't like it. And so, what I have seen, and I'll go right back to you, brother, folks have a great discomfort with dealing with Black people as multidimensional human beings. Because, frankly, all white folks aren't deep and heavy, nor Asians or anybody. There are a lot of shallow, stupid, mediocre, in fact, in abundance. And people draw great comfort in having somebody to look down on that's as stupid as I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, we see it every day. It's in the White House. I mean, there are certain people, advisors that the president has, and the so-called president-elect has. I could have given them better advice, pulled it out of my ass at 4 in the morning, than people who are in these positions. Understand something. They're looking for the artifacts from the surviving lost colony of Roanoke in North Carolina. Why are they looking for it? The initial people who came from Europe to what's now America couldn't cut it. They were wealthy, mediocre, dumbass white people who couldn't make it without stealing and robbing from Black Indians, my folks, who got shafted. And then, of course, they brought over enslaved people from the continent of Africa to help their asses make it because they weren't doing too well. And that was, they talk about an all white America where they don't want anybody else involved. They were failing as an all white society until they brought other people in to show them how to make it here. This is what people need to be honest. They were drinking salt water and dying, going crazy. They were eating one another. They were eating Black people. And they talk about cannibalism. Let's just be honest. In Jamestown, they ate the people from my tribe. The Powhatan Indians were being eaten by white folks who didn't know how to hunt a deer or a rabbit. They didn't know how to fish, but they did know how to lie and act like, they were white liberals, got them to come over, and then they ate the Black people. This is real talk, real America. When it was all white, they weren't making it. Get mad, get pissed. I don't give a damn. It wasn't working. It wasn't working, and they were all welfare recipients, getting corn and fish and deer meat from. They were on a welfare plan that was far more generous than what we have through EBT today. Yes, I said it. Keep going, my brother.
Yeah, but for me, with film, with everything, politics, it's almost like, and I hate to say, speak in generalities like Black people, white people, but I hope people with sense know that there are, outliers and so on and so forth. But
Sure, of all types. I'm not trying to put
yeah,
anybody in a box, but we're relating to people who lock us in a box even when we're not in it. Okay, just when you're not in the box, you get put in anyway. I just need to remind people about impudence laws, where if a Black person who was someone's property was too smart, they could be beaten or castrated or tortured to be taught to be stupid. I say Black people or whatever, or Negroes are stupid. You are going to be stupid like that movie 12 Years a Slave, or I'm going to teach you a lesson. I resent you speaking the English language better than I do. You're going to suffer for it. I say you can't speak, you're stupid, and you better do it or suffer the consequences. This is sort of what breeds the culture that you're talking about, that people learn. Don't be too smart. Don't have too much. Don't make someone feel that you're threatening. Don't say where you went to school. Don't use uh, polysyllabic words. Don't do that or else suffer the consequences. I think you understand what I'm saying.
mhm.
And we didn't do that. I didn't make it. And the outlying whites, the good white people, if we can use that term, are like the good black women that don't regulate the pork chop feminists, and they're like the good black men who let the knucklehead jackasses run wild in our communities. So there is a tremendous lack of responsibility, of holding people accountable, and not only holding them accountable, penalizing them when they're wrong. Very few people do it. And I would not expect another group of people to do more for us than what we are willing to do for ourselves. And that's a bigger thing. And so that's real talk there. Now, keep it moving, man. Now, come on, I'm gonna put it back on you. So you were growing up in New York, man, and before we had our stream violated by the despicable people in the media. You were talking. I just asked you about the, if I can use it this way, the crack era, when you came of age, just when crack hit New York. You were giving me these incredible statistics, man, incredible thing that you were telling me about what was going on with your neighborhood, your place. I mean, people shooting police. I don't know if anyone that shot a policeman. And I mean, and I'm here in my dad's library with my dad's police hat overlooking us. I mean, I in the '80s, I was rolling around in a police car, and people thought I was a cop or I was a snitch wearing a wire. That's why people didn't beat me up. That's why a big, loudmouth, non-fighting ass person like me didn't have a problem. Everyone assumed I was doing undercover work. I mean, I've never done anything with the police. I couldn't, I didn't want my dad to have the police car. It was an embarrassment. We would go to the store in the car, Curtis, and people would be freaking. And I was like, Dad, I don't like this. I feel like I'm like in a Ku Klux Klan robe walking through the hood, being in this police car, watching people put dope under the car and everything under the seat. I don't want to ride in this. So, but being in the cop car, not shooting the person in the cop car, that's like, that's like Star Wars for me. But you knew of people that shot police. You said what, 30 some odd people that you know of that got shot.
They
I
got killed, yeah.
whew, you got killed. I know some people that got shot. I don't know that many people that got killed, and a lot of people got killed in DC too. I mean, DC probably had a higher rate of proportion of slayings than in New York. DC is a small town, but I'm a preacher's kid, and I was a school kid. I was always in the library reading a book somewhere, and the books won't protect you from bullets, but they're thick walls on libraries, so it's a good place to hang out.
Hmm.
Talk to me. I
Yeah,
mean,
well, the one guy I know, Jay Stoney. I used to help him learn how to take pictures because I used to hustle photographs in Times Square. But Jay Stoney actually killed two police officers at the
woo,
same
Jesus.
time. Yeah. Um, he was at the precinct. One cop had carelessly left his locker unlocked, and Stoney retrieved the gun while he was left alone
Mm.
in the room. And on the ride back to Rikers Island or whatever, he shot both cops in the back of the head and exited the car at LaGuardia Airport around there. He was on the lam for a couple of days, but he got caught. He's in prison for the rest of his life. But yeah, I knew
That's
Stoney.
that's a movie right there. You could be the next Scorsese if you just did that story.
Yeah, yeah, I knew Stoney. When he was trying to like go straight, like I used to be in Times Square taking pictures. Used to be like 1 for 3, 2 for 5 with the big wicker chair and everything. I've been like a street kid all my life, so hustling in the streets. So if it was money to be made in the streets, I was there. And Stoney was trying to get into that, and I was giving him pointers and showing him how to do it and stuff like that. But his life went another way, and That's what he did. I was in a barbershop in Richmond, Virginia when I saw the news, and they put his picture on the TV. They were looking for him. He was wanted, and he had killed two detectives. Yeah,
Hmm.
I remember that plain as day. But again, man, it was a different time. What I find about nowadays is that the music is actually more violent than the streets that the artists claim influenced them. You see, because back then when the streets were really violent, the
Hmm.
artists weren't rapping about violence. It was they didn't want to present that image, pretend like they were from that life or anything. They tried to have fun, man. They, party, throw your hands in the air, say ho,
Waving
they
just
made it clear that they was not from that world. Nowadays, everybody says they're from that world, and I'm a little bit too old to be trying to say no, you're not. And it's like whatever, man. But I just know that as bad as people think these times are, they're not anywhere as bad as the 1980s and the early part of the 90s. Yeah, oh man, the crime bills and so on and so forth, they did have an impact. When Giuliani took over from David Dinkins in New York, the last year of Dinkins' mayorship, there was over 2,200 murders that year. By the time Giuliani left in 2000, the murder rate was down to 1970 levels. So his policing, whether you agree with it, disagree with it, call it racist, whatever you want to call it, it had the desired effect. It
Well,
did.
you didn't hear me attack.
Hmm.
I don't like brutality. I
Hmm.
do like the effectiveness of law enforcement, uh, not brutality. Don't be excessive. I know what it's like for someone to almost threaten to shoot someone over not having their seatbelt on. I'm thinking that isn't making anybody safer. I was in the car. I guess I would have got some too. And I'm thinking I had that happen one other place, and that's Boston. And folks, post police are overly, I mean, well, racist, race soldier type people who want to use lethal force on people over practically nothing. They're not brave enough to go after the real criminals because who have no problem harming them. They would harm someone who's not trying to do anything. This is my beef with chump punk cops. Not all, but those that bully, that will beat up a little girl or throw a woman. But if you got a real hardened criminal that had nothing to lose, they'd call for backup. I don't understand that. Uh,
As an adult, right? Um, I've been pulled over for doing in excess of 100 miles an hour in north of Georgia on I-85. And that's like, that's really redneck country up there. And
mhm.
the cop pulls me over, and you know, I put my hands on the wheel. He approached me. He said, you was doing 100 and such and such. I said, really? And you know what he told me?
What?
He said, listen, man, if I had this baby, I'd be doing that too. He talking about my car. See, in DC, I've been pulled over a couple times for talking on my cell phone. Did not get a ticket. I don't know, and I'm a black man. I'm 6'4", 250, and Lord knows when they run my driver's license, what comes up in the database because I do have a history. But I found that I've never really had any issues with the police. I don't know if it's how I engage them
Hmm.
or whatever. One thing I know about the law is that most of those guys, right? Not all, because I'm sure there's some real hardcore pricks out there, but most of them just want you to acknowledge their authority in the matter. And if
Yeah,
you if you give them that, it tends to go smooth. I'm not saying that's always the
I'm
case.
not. I
You
am
know,
absolutely not making. I repeat, my dad was a chaplain for the police department for
hmm
a quarter of a century, which means a policeman.
correct.
Um, you don't hear me sitting up just riding the police. Just to make that clear, I don't. I talk about the ones who, and I have other police in the family. I wouldn't want to be a policeman. Um, I have not had a whole lot of problems with law. I've had more problems with TSA on the air. I mean, the wannabe cops, security guards, the people who really, I mean, worthy of a beat down. Many of you are beat
hmm
down. But it's true. I always speak to law enforcement persons with, um, I guess, respect and understanding that. I mean, why disrespect someone that has a gun and a badge and a union and and a PR department to cover up shooting your ass?
You gotta
Um,
know when your hands in the lion mouth, you gotta ease it out, man. You gotta know when you got leverage and when you don't. And a lot of us don't understand leverage. We just come with emotion to a situation.
well, that's true. Well, but I don't have arguments with law enforcement. I don't want to. I don't like going to demonstrations. I hate protests and all, not because you don't have a right, but there'll be someone stupid that wants to throw a milkshake at the meanest white cop there who's and then I get the crap beaten out of me. I haven't even thrown a milkshake at anyone in my life. And I get beat and arrested and all this. I don't like it. I don't like bars. I just need to say to you, Brother Curtis, I hate bars so much. Uh, I didn't even make it in a crib for a week as a baby. I just hate bars. I mean,
Oh wow.
I slept in a bed from 3 days. Nobody, damn crib is a bars. To hell with that. Anything that's going to put me around bars. My dad used to be a chaplain to visit the prison down in Lorton, Virginia. I can't deal with bars. I have visited a prison or two, and just the door shutting and all that stuff freaks me out. I don't like bars. Anything that will keep me away from being locked up, jailed, handcuffed. I had a cousin from Newark who's a complete asshole who would handcuff us when we were asleep and do all kinds of stuff. I'm serious. Say y'all two faggots and handcuff your hand together and leave you like that all night. And I just can't deal with handcuffs and bars. I, anything that will keep me away from handcuffs and bars. I had no interest in anything that would get me locked up if I could avoid it. A lot of our folks, and this is the ugly influence of the boomer civil rights movement, they made going to jail cool. Yes, you dumbass boomers fucked us up. Y'all made going to jail cool. And to me, this ain't India, and I have on too much clothes to be Gandhi. I don't want to
Mm.
get locked up. I don't want to be arrested. There's got to be a more intelligent way to say fuck you to the people that are oppressing me than for them to have my body shackled and locked up. That's like slavery. And I got to pay to get out. Damn that. I can't I can't make that work, Scoon. Do you understand what I'm saying? We
Yes,
shall
I do.
overcome, and then they haul me off and they're dragging me. I don't get that. I would prefer for us to do what my wonderful friend C. Dolores Tucker did. Remember how she was fighting the rap game? And
Mhm.
go in and see the board of directors and people, the stockholders, and crash your stock. Destroy your business intelligently so it can be sold for pennies on the dollar. Then I get a genius like Curtis Scoon and we buy it with some venture capital.
Mhm.
Not march and hold a sign. That we need to, I mean, we're doing a lot of stuff. I'm serious. How many people do you see listening to 33 RPM records? You don't. Or the big 78 records. I'm sorry, you don't see anybody listen to 78s anymore. You don't. And it's not that you can't, but nobody listens to 78 records anymore. So why are we still protesting like we used to do when people listen to 78 RPM records? People were protesting when Bessie Smith was cutting records 100 years ago, marching. demanding attention. Stop being stuck on stupid. And at the same time, I say this to all the black youngsters, all of you young people out there. How come nobody hacks the police departments and find out which cops have all the records of beating up and traumatizing people? Y'all can't do that. Y'all can hack the porn sites. Y'all can hack. I'm telling you, I just don't have a lot of respect for black millennials who don't apply their resistance using tech. We should know all about that. That officer that shot Breonna Taylor, who had a rape charge pending, this thing should have been hacked out months ago. They wait for it to come on CNN. Why don't we? Where's the Black Anonymous? How come y'all don't hack nothing? Why aren't y'all hacking that? Why don't you hack the little racist politician to prove he's a pedophile? Just drop the file out there. Put it up on Instagram on an anonymous thing. We should be fighting differently. I don't know how to hack, but there are people that they do banks. You know, black folks don't do banks. So just if y'all gonna be disobedient, do some real shit. Okay, I mean, just real shit. Just if I see another person with a picket sign, I will vomit. I don't want to march. Okay, look, unless I'm the drum major, and then again, and someone's gonna have to buy me the shoes because I'm like heavy footed and the heel wears off. No. Now, brother, tell me some more. You're up in Detroit. You're here helping people, and I hear you're not helping people get these sex changes that they want. You turning down the money. Now, why can't I? Why can't I be a woman? I'm a woman. I mean, what me? Come on, man. Just take the fee. Take the $5,000 fee, and
Well,
let these people be whatever they want to be. Why are
well,
you so hard? Why are you
um,
so hard, Curtis School? I've been a woman my whole life. Okay. You're a counselor. I know you heard these things. What's going on?
look,
What's going on with the schools? I mean, you got
well,
um,
in
hmm.
the course of making the film Black, White, and Blue, I happened to meet Coleman Alexander Young II, who is the son of the first black mayor of Detroit, Coleman Alexander Young I. Coleman Alexander Young Sr. was mayor for 20 years. And when I met his son, he was a state senator. Um, Junior is 38 years old, and he has been a state legislator for 12 years. So he was following in his father's footsteps. Junior had decided to run for mayor in 2017. And I had felt his integrity when I interviewed him. And I got behind him and was his number one donor to his campaign. He fell short. That's when I took him up on the Breakfast Club as well. I just want to say shout out to Charlemagne. A lot of people don't like him, and I don't agree with his politics. But Charlemagne has been very good to me. Charlemagne not only did he was Charlemagne in my film Black, White, and Blue, but he also had Coleman Young up on the program when he was running for mayor, and then he came and he interviewed me in Asia to promote the film.
I saw that.
So for me, and again, this is not a cosign on his politics,
You don't have
lifestyle,
to.
or
You don't have to
anything.
explain yourself.
No, no, I know, but I want
Oh,
to
you
know.
don't.
But I
Okay,
want to.
cool.
There's certain things that I once said because people have questions and they don't ask. I just give them the answer so they can really understand where I'm coming from. You see, because for me, I don't pick sides, right? It's a matter of usefulness. I got a saying that I utilize all the time, and it says the a blessing and a curse are one and the same. The difference being in the application. So most of the judging that I try to do involves usefulness, and harmfulness or harmlessness. You understand? Those are the things that I judge. People's specific character, I can't get into all of that. I really don't. It, there's a lot of quirky people who are very useful and helpful. So I'm not going to use their quirkiness. I'm not going to hold that against them. Because at the end of the day, they get the job done. And what that does is it allows me to work with very diverse people. I don't need to work with a lot of carbon copies of myself. So anyway, Coleman was up on the show, and after that, he ran for Congress for John Conyers' seat because John Conyers had to step down the same year that Coleman lost. So he had the fever. He was running. That was a race he probably shouldn't have gotten into. He's a politician. It's in his DNA. That's what he really wants to do. And we ran that race, and I learned a lot about politics in that race. His mayoral campaign, I didn't really learn much about politics. I was green as a pool table and twice as square. But when he ran for Congress, I got an education. I saw how the DNC worked, and they got behind enough black candidates to split the vote to pave the way for Rashida Tlaib from the squad, who was the best funded candidate in that race. And that race also showed me how the way money is raised in politics is money is raised nationally to get the right person in locally. And that local person, rather than advocate for their constituents or their district, they join the narrative, the national discourse. So Rashida Tlaib is from the 13th district of Michigan, which at the time was the second poorest district in the country. But she wasn't talking about poverty, health care, uh, economics, none of that. She was talking about Palestine
And falafel.
and the kids at the border, none of which had anything to do with the residents and the people who voted for her. But see,
Hmm.
black voters, and again, I'm generalizing, but if you look at how we vote in a block, what I'm saying may not really be a generalization. It may be just the facts. We voted. Black women voted 91% for Joe Biden. Black
Damn,
black women voted 94% for Hillary Clinton. That
damn.
that lack of diversity in ideology, it only speaks to one thing. There is no such lack of diversity in thinking or political ideology in any other demographic but ours.
Hold,
You
hold
know,
on. But you said no. We got to say which demographic because there seems to be a growing diversity in black men. Okay. And that's something. Nope. When it comes time to praise black women, they'll say, "Oh, the first black woman, this first black woman, this black women, this."
well,
Right? When black women fuck up, we call it black
well,
women.
I said clearly black women supported
Okay, but
Biden
no, no, no. But you said
91%,
a
and black
community. No,
women.
we got to separate it out. We've got a problem in our community. We have a disconnect, and no, we got to deal with this. Black women on some stupid politics because they get masturbated and played by the Democratic Party. And what I want to say to you with this election that was stolen, a
Well,
lot of these sisters, if they're involved, they're going to be the fall girls. They're going to get locked up and rounded up like they were in Atlanta for the test cheating scandal. It's coming. Black
yeah,
women, the days of impunity are over. They're replacing you with Latinas. You're about to get hit, punched in the face like a black man. I don't want that to happen. However, you remember you said blessing and a curse? Maybe it will be a blessing for a lot of sisters to get beat down so they can finally understand what some of us, the enlightened black men, are trying to tell them. And it ain't hatred, but kissing your ass and always calling you queen doesn't make you think any differently. In fact, constantly being praised and complimented and given flowers and Mama's Day doesn't make y'all get it. In fact, a person that gets praised all the time becomes jaded, spoiled, ruined. They act like celebrities. And celebrities are some jacked up people, right, brother Scoon? They
mhm.
always people just falling all over themselves for the celebrity. The celebrity loses contact with reality. Everybody wants me. Everybody loves me. I'm perfect. Well, you know what? You know what I'm going to do in my act? I'm going to take a bow movement on stage and people are going to clap, right? And it's time. I'm sorry. So no, when we talk about pork chop feminism, it has to be smashed. Feminism needs to be destroyed in the black community here and now. No compromises. and that's inclusive of spray painted feminism, which is womanism. If you're using the same books, same theories, same stuff that comes from white female supremacy, you throw a couple of African fetish dolls in your artwork on the cover and some other stuff, it doesn't cut it with me. It's just like fake ass black theology is nothing but warmed over white Marxist liberation theology, and you put a few black quotes in it. It ain't cutting it. It ain't working. Maybe it's good at Union Theological Seminary, but it doesn't do a damn thing for the folks in the storefront church, with the liquor store next door. Okay. Now, brother. So keep going. But yeah, we have stupid politics.
Yeah, so Rashida Tlaib was the best funded candidate, and the black vote was split sufficiently so she could slip in there. Her money was raised nationally, and she spoke to national issues.
Mhm.
Black women need to be, they don't just do it for empty praise because they're getting rewards, but those rewards are temporary. What I've seen, and this is just my opinion, is that the Democratic Party, the liberals, the leftists, whatever you want to describe them as, what they have done is they have put the black woman in front of the black man
Mhm.
artificially.
Way out front.
Yeah, so they've rewarded the black woman to the point that the black woman now does not feel like the black man is even relevant. You see, because we've taken and I get it.
I
I
wish
get
you
it.
would think that in child support cases.
Listen,
Now,
and I get it because
keep
in
my
all fairness, what I realize is that prior to feminism, black women probably were at the bottom because
Mhm.
you had white man, white woman, black man, black woman. But with the feminism, the black woman was catapulted in front of the black man. And a lot of people would say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, if you don't have strong men, you won't have strong families. And if you don't have strong families, you won't have strong communities. So actually, what was initiated by that is a matriarchy. And the matriarchy
A
that is,
dysfunctional matriarchy.
and the matriarchy is really to blame. And that's not blaming the women, but a
You can
matriarchy
blame
is
them.
to blame for
Black men get blamed. I believe in a dialectic. No, no, black men get blamed for stuff all the
yeah,
time.
that
That's
but
specifically what I'm doing this for. Equal blame.
see,
Equal blame for equal failure. We're
and,
failing as a
and
people.
that's the other
That means
part of
that
what I was
black
going to
women are
say.
failure, and it means that black men are failure, not black women are success up here at 190% and black men are zero. That's bullshit. And
And
that's bullshit any stupid ass black woman that thinks that they're a damn liar.
yeah,
Black women,
that's the other
hold on,
part of what I
on,
was going to
hold it.
say, Randy.
The
Let me,
matriarchal
let me
families,
just finish this.
matriarchal
Let
families.
me just flush this out. For me, saying blaming the matriarchy is not blaming black women. You see, because the matriarchy exists because black men, for whatever reason, fall short. We
Okay.
have to rise to the occasion and be the men that our women look to.
Even if they don't want to, and even if we have to marry outside of black women who insist on having dysfunctional family units. Yes, I will agree with you if the same way that 1 in 3 black women are marrying white men, okay, that if a black man wants to have a functional male headed household that works, and he can't find a black woman that will work with him or cooperate with him, because I'm dealing with a lot of friends going through divorces who have these crazy, uh, rugged individual broads for wives, that if he marries somebody from South Africa or Senegal or Congo or Jamaica or Brazil, and he outsources his relationship job to another group of black women as a necessary survival thing for the black family and a punitive mission against pork chop feminism, he has done the right thing. This power concedes nothing without a demand, brother. Okay. These sisters are not going to be reasonable. but because you come in and you say I'm stepping up, because I see men stepping up and they're getting treated the same way as a dude who's punching, throwing folks down a flight of steps, has got more children than the old woman in the shoe, gets more respect than the functional black man. This power that's been inordinate power that comes from white supremacy, not from black women, that a lot of these ladies use, that power will not be surrendered. It won't. And they won't be reasonable about it. It will require that a battle be fought. Okay. And that's, by the way, this is part of what feminism and all these things they did in particular. Remember the book, Michelle Wallace, Super Macho, Superwoman?
Hmm.
What's her name? Betty Friedan wrote a book for a black woman liar named Michelle Wallace, and it was designed to trash black men. They were out here just trashing all black men in this feminist literature. And then what happened, right? It turns out this black woman didn't even write the book. It was a book to attack black men, said all this stuff about black men. This woman hasn't written another book since 1980. That's been 40 years. She didn't write the book. These black women, this feminism thing is a CIA program targeted to take down our community, to force down our population, to promote the destruction of the black family. They're using some legitimate issues that black women face. I'm with that. As you know, I work with a bunch of women and women's groups because I don't like women being mistreated, but I have a problem when what the women are doing are bringing our community down.
Yeah.
Okay, and woman can contribute to the community being brought down. Sure, she can. And we can talk about, I see men, I'm dealing with men who are getting divorced, whose wives have been unfaithful. The man's been true, man's word. Uh, Women can too be traitors. Women can too be malefactors. And yes, you must blame them directly. If we don't do that, we're not treating people equally. We're treating a woman who won't feed her kids as well. She don't know, she don't know. And a man that doesn't feed his kids, damn it, why won't you step up? I don't buy that, Scoon. The man needs to feed his kids. No excuses. The woman, feed your kids. You have no excuses. Don't tell me about, well, he. Don't lay down with someone that you know has kids by 20 women that he's not taking care of. Why didn't you look at the dude that didn't have 20 kids? And so, no, these kinds of conversations must be held. One thing you'll learn, and I got my little Scum Manifesto book here. Have you ever read the Scum Manifesto?
No, sir.
The Scum Manifesto talks about how all men are no good, no fathers love their kids, all men are shit, all men are worthless, all men should be castrated, all men are
Mm.
fags. And they put these things out, and these are in the Women's Studies Department. And these educated black women that they listen to this. These are all books written by these women. This isn't about solving the problem of the black women that clean hotel rooms and motel rooms that get the lowest pay, getting them a living wage so even if the man ain't shit, they'll make it. They're not dealing in that. They're dealing in promoting trans, pedophilia, illegals, and they've got our dumbass black women, many of them professionals, on an agenda that's non economic, that doesn't deal with the issues that black women are confronted by. And you have to accept it because, men have been so bad for a million years. And if you get to Harvard or Yale or Princeton, they'll tell you the most sexist, the most abusive, the most neglectful men in the world are black American men. And so if you feed this to all these, I mean, how can they respect you if it's in the schools and the teachers? And I'll tell you, there are virtually no books or literature written to give at least another point of view of where black men are okay. Some, at least. I think you're okay. You don't look like you're throwing women out the apartment off the patio. I mean, how come all of us have to be that bad? And let me share with you what I learned. When they vilify men so totally, it's really a cover to say, you know what, you may as well be a lesbian. You have a right to be with another woman because all of the men are zeros. Not one man, I've heard things. Not one man's ever loved a woman. Not one man's ever cared for a woman. Not one man has ever done, even when he gives you a ring is a symbol of slavery. Marriage is slavery. Basically, everything associated with men is some kind of attack. I've even heard, and they teach this, that the penis penetrating a vagina is the ultimate act of violence and rape and murder of a woman. Literally, this is taught in schools. And yet, but if a woman has a strap on stuck in another woman, that's liberation. You put a real one up there, that's slavery. And you don't see any. We don't have a black woman like Phyllis Schlafly. We don't have any women debunking this extreme anti-male misandry that's being promoted. So when you get teachers who think all boys aren't shit and they're in the school and you look at an honor society at the school and it's 100% female, no one says, hey, wait a minute, there's not one smart boy in this entire school. The women have not been doing the analysis. The women have not been critical of self. And that's the reason that men need to head their community. Because I'll tell you something. I've worked jobs and I've worked with folks, and I've noticed when a man messes up, the boss, whether they're male or female, can jump in that dude's stuff and tear him to pieces. And that's just that. If it's a female and she messes up, people have to think about how they talk to her about it. And I says, this is interesting. This man tell me I'm fired. I mean, sisters, you come late all the time. No one say anything. You're a male. You could get there early. Man, you're late.
Mhm.
I have seen this. And when you benefit people off of it, it has the same effect as racism does, white supremacy does. Someone begins to feel entitled to this. And not only that, they begin to look down on someone who doesn't have the same things as them. And no one's going to give that up. Okay, and I understand it, but we're going to have to demand a reformation of black society, and part of that reformation means that feminism must go, and womanism, if it isn't about bringing black men and women together and a true family system, it must go too. Anything that is against the survival of the black family, survival of the black child that is not yet born, anything that denigrates one sex or esteems one sex more than the other has to go. I don't think women are less than men. Men and women are different. We're made differently. We're both human. We all have the same number of chromosomes, this, that, and the other. But I can't bear a child, and I don't want to. I mean, I hate having a bowel movement. I couldn't imagine having a baby. I mean, please let someone else deal with that, right? I'm serious. Okay. And so, and all the dudes trying to have a baby backwards, good luck. Hasn't worked in 10,000 years. It's not going to work 100,000 years from now. Women and men are different, and it's not a bad thing. There are wonderful things, incredible things about womanhood that men can't touch, and vice versa. The problem I have with this movement you're talking about, Mr. Scoon, is it tries to make men and women the complete equivalents. That is insane. I'm thinking about the woman that was trying to do weightlifting, and she was black woman, strong black woman. She can bench press more than me. I'll give that to her. She was trying to lift up these weights, and both of her arms broke. Her arms popped, and I was like, not only ouch. I'm still traumatized by seeing this woman's arms break. But what would compel this woman to think that she needed to do things just like a man? Why did you have to compete as a man? Why didn't she? Why and they're women, they're falling off of mountains, they're getting drowned in rivers, trying to do stuff that women to prove. I mean, they're going off hiking, getting eaten by mountain lions. And I'm not saying that it doesn't happen to men, but there was a mountain lion chasing a man the other day, and the man was able to front the mountain lion off. I don't know if a woman would be as lucky, and I'm not knocking women. Maybe he should have gone with the gun. He wasn't hiking. This mountain lion came out of from nowhere. You're going to hear about cases of women getting attacked by wild animals in places like California, where the wolves and things are reproducing. And what used to happen when there were people who lived in less advanced societies, part of what men did was protected women from wild animals. These days, basically, a man can't do nothing for him. So you saw that little picture of the woman putting Crisco oil in her car's oil tank, saying, "I don't need a man to help me. I can put oil in my car." Uh, we got to be honest that we need each other. And this is not what I'm hearing. I'm hearing people say that black men aren't needed. You won't hear me say black women aren't needed. Black women are quintessential. You don't have black women, you don't have black people. But you can't have a black people if you want to kill all the babies. You want to attack the existence of the family system. I think I didn't read that thing to you, did I, about the mantra? I should get this book, Brother Scoon, and read it to you of what these people are promoting, so you can understand why there's no way to work with it. I'm gonna get it. Give me a 1 second. I'm gonna move my thing over here, and I want you to give me 1 second. I want to read a
Yeah.
piece of this, just a small piece, and then we'll get back to you. 1 second. Okay. Mr. Scoon, I got this book. I got a whole, in fact, this is a documentary. You got to get me an Asian, some of us together, for us to have a conversation about this damn feminism. It's got to be driven out of our community. It's got to go. Now, this is a responsive reading from a radical lesbian organization from 1969. Were you born then?
Yes.
Okay. This was read in your city of New York. And this is what, when they get together to have their little witch Satanist gatherings, this is something that they read. Why are we here today? To make revolution. What kind of revolution? The cultural revolution. How do we make the cultural revolution? By destroying the American family. How do we destroy the family? By destroying the American patriarch. How do we destroy the American patriarch? By taking away his power. How do we do that? By destroying monogamy. How can we destroy monogamy? Listen to this. By promoting promiscuity, eroticism, prostitution, and homosexuality. This is what the women's movement has brought to the black women as well. Who's the most vulnerable man whose patriarchy would be destroyed first? Ours. When I read this to black women who call themselves women assist, now, how do you defend this? Y'all bitch and complain about black men being missing, black men not do, but your movement seems to want to destroy the functionality of men and yet bitch about men not being functional. How can you have it both ways? You call men switch hitters, they're DL, they're down low, but your movement wants the men to be down low? I don't know a movement among men that want to make the women gay, that want to run to stop women from having children, that not a movement. There are filthy, degenerate individuals that do this. And then the closest thing we got is a gay thing, but the gay people are their allies. Are you understanding me? It's like, I would never want this for anyone. So understand, if these women's power and movement of coming from the bottom comes at the expense of destroying what little good we once had. Right? This is a real book. And I've been collecting these. I mean, this Scum Manifesto. Scum stands for the Society of Cutting Up Men.
God damn.
So well, how can I work with you if you want to cut me up? You hate me. You want to destroy me. You don't like little boys. So if the teachers are female and they believe this, and they destroy the boys in school, don't we have the school to prison pipeline? Who are teaching these young black boys? Primarily white female teachers who write them up and destroy them. Yes, we got to deal with this. And yes, women can too be combatants. Women can too be warriors and warrioresses. The question is who are you fighting for? There's not one provision or program in particular of any of the major parties to deal with black people's issues. But I want to say that 90 some odd percent of us are with the Democrats. You would think for 60 years of loyal voting in excess of 8/10 that they'd have something to offer us other than prison, uh, pansexuality, abortion, divorce, gentrification, and illegal migration. That's their labor program. That's all we get. And 91% of black women say, well, you need to get a job. But I'm voting for Pancho to come over here and replace you.
Hmm.
Uh, I can't pardon that. That has to change. You vote for Joe Biden, who put 5.5 or more million black men in jail,
Right.
and and you voted for him. Well, oh my God! I mean, if I voted for the white guy who's half Asian that was raping black women down in Texas, black women would justifiably be in my ass. Well, what about when you vote for someone who's destroyed black men? Aren't you some kind of a traitor? Aren't you some kind of an asshole? Aren't you some kind of a bitch? Yes, I said that. Yes, yes. Stop being one. Um, all the black women, by the way, under Joe Biden, the rate of mass incarceration for black women went up over 1,000% because of the
Okay.
Biden bill. Why do they like him? If you can't tell me that's not a jacked up person, mentally jacked up person, and the most dangerous ones of all are in those secret societies. I mean, you keep seeing all the little overweight ones, and they're all doing the electric hippo slide. They're too big to just have an electric slide. So you have all these overweight sisters out here boogieing like we got free, like Joe Biden is Abraham Lincoln with no beard. Um, although, Abraham Lincoln was a little ACDC, they say. Abraham Lincoln used to stay about a mile from my house in the soldiers' home, and he'd sleep with the soldiers who came back from the battlefield. That's fact. That's fact. It's a soldiers' home. I can take you up. You don't believe me? We can go up there and take pictures of
I
you.
didn't say
No,
anything.
no, I'm just
These
saying to you.
bits of
I mean,
information
so
that you have just amazing.
no, no, no. But that's probably why they call him the old rail splitter. I just don't want to be one of the rails. That's okay. You can take your stovepipe hat to the next house. I don't want none. Okay, now we have to pick this up again because this is sort of like my test. Brother Scoon, you're teaching people, you're educating people, you running politics. Come on, man, talk to me. I mean, you know so much. I mean,
Where I left off was the race in Michigan when
mhm,
when when Coleman Young Jr. lost that race. The next thing we did, to keep him active and keep him in front of the population, the community, he set up a consulting company. But I
mm,
learned a lesson in that as well. Not too many of us are doing business where we need a consulting company, you know, and for whatever reason, it took some while. It's starting to pick up now. So after close to a year, we pivoted and we did we designed the STEM program. It is
mm,
actually the Coleman A. Young the second educational program. That's what it is. And what it is, it teaches STEM to students in Detroit public schools. Martin Luther King Jr. High School was our pilot program. And this thing with COVID, it made our timing very, very fortuitous. And distant learning is a big thing now, and Detroit Public Schools will be closed again beginning on Monday.
Well, they're closed when they're open.
They had reopened to 25% capacity,
Mm.
but now with President elect Joe Biden, um,
So you think
well,
he's
that's what they're
not
referring
elected
to
until
him as.
he no, no, we can't. Let's do that later. You can just say Biden. Okay, he's a candidate. He's not elected until the electors meet on December 14th. All the votes haven't been counted. Please
Yeah,
don't listen to the
this,
fake
this,
ass
this is
media.
a
They're the
fact.
same ones that lied on you. They lied on you for many years of your life. Now, come on, don't
Listen,
don't do Trump
this
like
is a fact that it has to be certified by the Congress. However, a lot of people have taken it for fact already, and they've started to prepare lockdowns and so on and so forth.
that. Hmm.
Um, and Detroit Public Schools are in that category.
Hmm.
Previously, they had opened up because Trump had said if you don't open, you can't get federal funding. So they did a hybrid and opened up. They did a hybrid and opened up 25%. But now, because everyone believes that Trump is on his way out, they're back to doing what they're going to shut down. I think beginning on Sunday, Governor Hogan in Maryland is
Hmm.
rolling back
Well,
the social distancing and all that, whatever laws
hmm,
he had
hmm.
regarding the quarantine and the COVID and
His last
Chicago
statement.
shutting down. And Joe Biden, whether we accept it or not,
I
a lot
don't.
of people have, and they're moving on it. And
Mhm,
it's going to be shutdowns and so on and so forth. And
mhm,
I've been seeing a lot of stuff in the media. I don't know how accurate it is about spikes in Wisconsin and Detroit and Vermont and
mhm,
spikes everywhere. So they're getting us all revved up and ready to shut down
mhm.
in the
Well, they may get the
unknown.
shutdown. I can see the spikes and all that, but my brother, they're beginning to put the news out. I mean, I think I should have sent you this thing I have where they can prove that they took 2.7 million votes away from Trump. They've got the data. It's Pennsylvania alone, they took 900,000 votes from Trump in Pennsylvania, 900,000. And he's behind by whatever it is. He's got Pennsylvania. He may have picked up Virginia. They stole quite a few votes in Michigan, votes in Wisconsin, votes in Arizona, votes in Nevada. The way that this thing is set up, it's not just one set of electoral fraud, not voter fraud, but electoral fraud. There was like multiple plans in place to steal the election. And so you've got multiple software systems and things and schemes to steal.
He's got to
And
prove it. That's all.
well, no, no, no. But it's it doesn't matter how many law firms drop out. It's going to the Supreme Court. If they refuse to do it on the state level, he's got that little broad that likes adopting black babies and baking cookies, that hates abortion, a Barrett, and they're going to have to bear her being on the court for the rest of her life. Believe that. He's Clarence Thomas, who was being asked about pussy hair on his soda from Joe Biden. If you don't think he's not good, that will be the one white person that he does something to hurt in his life. Joe Biden, I mean, it couldn't have happened to a better person for Joe Biden to have crossed. I mean, Clarence Thomas is going to put his Uncle Ben's hat on the side, and he's going to put his shoe polishing brush aside, and he's going to be an angry black man, and he's going to do a high tech lynching for a high tech lynching. He's waited all this time. Think about it. It will be 30 years next year that Clarence Thomas has been on the court. And
Wow.
he will finally have an opportunity to do to Biden what Biden did to him. Alito has been disrespected by the court and by the voting people in Pennsylvania, so he's conservative. So Trump has a supermajority in the court. If it goes to the Congress, you've got 31 Republican governors, 31 votes constitutionally, meaning that if it goes to Congress, Trump will win. If Trump says national emergency, I'm just tired of this. He's got it. He's got, you play spades. Come on, you from the hood. You played spades. Yes, sir. He's got everything, even the two of spades. He's got the whole thing. Biden and them have been caught. Basically, he's got his penis in a paper shredder. And the thing about it is, if you rewind it, it gets shredded when it comes out. And if you go in and get shredded and cut it, it goes, it piles up. They've got him. There's nothing that they can do. And Trump, they're not, what you need to understand, and I don't know why the media keeps lying about this. The electors have to vote. It is not the people anymore. The electors vote 30 days from today. A whole month this is going to drag, my brother. And this is Friday the 13th. I need to tell you that North Carolina is going to go to Trump today.
It went already.
Okay, good. I haven't been looking. And there's another state that's going to go to Trump today. So
They
that
said Georgia and Arizona stayed with Biden, though.
They haven't finished counting, and they have the lawsuits. You must understand that if the state of Georgia, prior to the election, denounced the software that they use for their elections, how do you denounce it and then use it? They're going to have to do it. They can call Georgia. They can do the hand count, but you need to remember the hand count, if they have a watermark on the legal ballots. Notice Trump has been saying legal ballots, legal ballots, legal ballots, legal ballots. If they watermarked the illegal ballots, if they scan, no matter how many millions of ballots that don't have the watermark that went for Biden, they're going to have to be taken out. And people's heads are going to roll. I don't believe that Trump is going to step down. I hope he doesn't. I mean, I love all this drama. You know, I've never liked to watch movies like Sugar Hill. You've probably seen it. I can't watch. I mean, the last movie I saw was New Jack City, and I hated the fact that Wesley Snipes killed his best friend. I couldn't handle that. I've never seen another film where brothers are shooting each other that came up together. So I tend to watch mafia films with white people shooting each other. It's far more educational for me. So I love a mafia movie. As long as it's not black people fighting, it's Chinese people fighting, anybody fight, I can watch that all day long. I'm enjoying watching the fighting going on between the globalists and the nationalists. My friend, the evidence is out that the vote was hacked. The evidence is out that they've done this. And the problem, there are two things. If it's correct, according to RT France, that Trump got 80 million votes, and they're saying that Biden got 77, if he got that. But I want to ask you, brother, why did they have more votes than registered voters in the state of Wisconsin? How do you make that work? How are they going to give him that when that it's not possible without electoral fraud? Are you understanding me? Why is it that you have black people voting for Joe Biden in cities across the country on a level for which they voted for Barack Obama? Have you? Yeah, Biden got more votes from certain black areas than Obama did. Biden? Really? Do people even know who he is? I mean, I'm just saying, there's no enthusiasm about him. Even the kids are scared. Did you see his daughter or granddaughter holding the dress down, hoping he didn't put his hand up there? I mean, there's something wrong with these people. So no, brother. I believe that this is gonna be a contested thing. I was at the White House. I'm sorry, I was at the vice president's house working 20 years ago when Biden conceded. I was there. I shook the man's hand, tried to talk to him. I watched Lieberman and his Jewish friends all drive off. This really happened. I saw this. This is not anti-Semitism. I'm just telling you what I saw. Lieberman had a whole bunch of Jewish folks that looked like they were all from Williamsburg. You know what I'm talking about. You're from New York. And all of these Jews in dark clothes left with Lieberman. Notice when Al Gore conceded, Lieberman did not give a speech. Go back and look; you won't find it. I was there. Uh, Tepper Gore, who's confused, she gave a speech. She was talking about the Winans. I mean, that black music made him feel good. And one of the Winans, you know, they got good music. They probably should. As big. This dude was like the size of a grand piano standing up, and he, him and Star Jones, they were there. Star Jones used to be like the size of a small moon. You know, she could be a satellite if you put some propellers on it. But I'm just saying to you, if Al Gore waited until Christmas time to concede, then why can't Donald Trump wait until Christmas time to think about conceding? There's a precedent for it. And by the way, I think there's enough evidence that things happen irregularly with this race that if he just really decided to do it, he could do it. And I want to just say this, and we can go back. Pompeo is a spook. The CIA has been stealing elections since the end of the Second World War. When a CIA heavyweight says that there's going to be a smooth transition, Pompeo disagrees with Trump whenever he wants to. He's the one person that doesn't give a damn. When the spook that sat by the door says Trump's not going nowhere, take that to the bank because they know who screwed who. They know who's smuggling dope. They know whose wife is a trans. They've got, all this stuff in DC works on blackmail. And the CIA has everybody's business. You're going to find a whole bunch of people start liking Trump again. All they're going to do is send them some digital bites. This is your wife with the Cabana Boy. This is you on top of the Cabana Boy with your wife. We're going to send this to the Christian Coalition television in the morning. If you can't change your vote, a whole lot of people are going to start saying, well, I think Trump deserves 4 more years. I mean, I have to consider, look, that's what's going to happen. Okay, now, next subject. And we can stop in a few minutes. We got to do this again. You are sleepy. I must be boring you, man. I can't believe that. Oh, you okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, you were talking about the STEM program, and that's happening in Michigan. Now, let's talk about this election. You think that Biden's going to get this thing. I'm so sad, man.
I don't know if he's going to get it. I know Trump got to prove his case.
Okay, well, Trump... I agree with you. Trump's got to prove his case. But I'll tell you something. Trump is he doesn't like to concede. He won't even acknowledge the Central Park 5 was a mistake. I'm not saying that that's such a big to do. I'm just saying after the DNA and everything, Trump hasn't yielded, has he? You're from New York. That's been 30 years. He hasn't conceded. If he won't give on Central Park, he's not going to give on the election. He hates to concede anything. They're going to have to invade the White House and drag him out. And I don't think because Trump is getting rid of the generals and all that stuff, he's going to get rid of that. Really, the woman that looks like Sally Fields, she looks like Norma Ray as an octogenarian. That's the head of the CIA. She's gone. I mean, he's going to get rid of everybody. He should get rid of Kushner, who told him to quit. I don't know why he keeps him. I don't know what Ivanka has on her dad. Maybe she's got some videos on him. But Ivanka and Kushner, man, they need to go back to New York and make some money and let their father just bang some head. So I was going to just say to you, because I need to run to the bank and do some other stuff. We
Okay.
got to do this again. But I mean, this has been interesting, man. Summarize this. I mean, talk to us. I mean, before you go, I mean, if you have any wisdom, which you have lots. I mean, this you do not like talking about yourself. I mean, you know, I'm gonna have to be a CIA agent with some sodium pentothal and inject you. I mean, you like that boy that Michael Jackson said they raped him. They had to drug this boy for 8 hours to get him to lie on Michael Jackson. This boy loved him some Michael Jackson. His dad and them slapping, screaming at him, injecting him with drugs. Say Michael Jackson did. It took about 8 hours. 8 hours of drugging and yelling and screaming. The boy finally said something. But Mike was innocent. I really believe that. But talk to us before you go as a seasoned Renaissance man. A
Well, I try to talk about the things that I do. I think we have a lot of pontificators in our community.
me.
So some are necessary because they're informative, but and some people need that sort of thing. I just think it's too many of them, and
Mhm,
we just need more people to do more things. I feel like we have to figure out how to do things for ourselves as a community, and we need to come up with solutions that
mhm,
don't involve other people's participation or support.
mhm,
We have to make it happen for ourselves. And I'm not knocking anybody who's looking towards other people or working with other people, but I think a lot of the respect that we don't get or we feel that we should get, it really starts at home and with us respecting each other. And that comes with us um, caring about each other. You said something in black, white, and blue that always stuck with me. You said, what is this about black people where everybody has to like them when black people don't necessarily like each other? You
mhm,
know? And those are, I'm paraphrasing you, but I think I'm pretty close because I've seen that film a lot. And that's something to think about. You know, we put these expectations on other people that we don't even put on ourselves for ourselves. And one of the things that my experience has shown me is that white privilege really comes down to getting the benefit of doubt, especially from black people. And being black is getting nothing but doubt, especially from black people. We got to believe in each other a little more. And we really just have to do right by each other. And I think when other people see how much we care about each other, they will have no choice but to show us the same respect.
mhm. Well, I absolutely appreciate that. We have to do this again. I'm gonna have a tighter program. Thank you for allowing me to do a test with you. I did two with you, and you did one with me. And Coon Busters, I just want to tell you, yes. And by the way, brother Curtis, I need your help because I don't just want to pontificate. There are a couple of issues that I'm on. There are two issues that I'm on. One, I don't want children here in DC to be vaccinated without parental consent in DC. That's DC Council Bill 230717. And so, yes, I pontificate. I do. I'm one, but I actually will go and act. That's number one. Number two, I'm working with Black farmers. And I believe you want something for Brother Coleman. I know some Black farmer type people that could come in and really hook some things up. I know there are people doing it in Detroit, but for this would be something to touch people, to show people how to grow and farm and do all this other kind of stuff. It would be very hot. A very nice project, in particular, where people are dealing with issues of food security and so forth. I want to put that out before you. The group is called Ag First Kentucky. I'll be back and I'll be going down to Southwest Georgia at some point in the next few weeks
Mhm.
to meet with the only Black owner of a meat packing and slaughterhouse that's FDA certified in the country. We're looking to try to help people set up a second Black owned FDA certified meat packing and processing plant in Kentucky. Thank you for being a doer because the more I hang around you and other people, I'm gone from just talking. I have real dreams like you do. And just like you did that film, I'm thinking I've had this channel for 11 years and never tried to do anything to put pictures of my cat up. But there's so many dumb people out here putting out stupid news. I figure even in my drawers, I have more to say than a whole bunch. So I decided I'm not in my drawers right now, I- but to to educate people and talk to them. But Coon Busters, I'm really looking forward if I can get. In fact, I do want your help, brother, so I can like get my logo. I'm going to put together my dream budget because I have people that want to do my graphics and so forth. So my screen will have like a Coon Buster thing in the back and so forth. But I want to try to get people to think more intelligently about two things, money and politics. And there's a brother I want you to meet who is an expert in community economic development that I think would be awesome for Coleman to meet, whose name is Bryant Moore. I'm going to start doing some program with Bryant Moore. We're going to be talking about money. We look to partner with the Black Bank here to talk to people about cash, money. And by the way, since I met you as of a few weeks ago, our LLC, Salvation and Liberation Temple Ministries, exist, and I look forward to us establishing a not-for-profit. We're trying to unite the the spiritual and the social. Where yes, when I'm not being ignorant, and we're just talking about the Bible and God and loving and helping and investing in one another, we can too do this. Uh, as much as COVID's hurt people, I see it almost as a blessing because it's exposed that we don't have Black leadership. Folks aren't functioning. There should have been all kinds of things happening. If nothing else, handing out hand sanitizer, condoms, and masks. They could have done that. Anything, something. And in a unified national level, not just some local church. Well, my church gave out some chicken. No, no, really touch the 40, 50, 60, 70 million uh, foundational Black Americans in this country. And I would be remiss without saying, brother, everybody, please, if you have Amazon Prime or Vimeo uh, on demand, and tell the website for people to see this film, Black, White, and Blue. Y'all need to have everybody see Black, White, and Blue. Clarence Scoon. I'm saying Clarence when it's Curtis. Why am I doing that? Curtis Scoon has this phenomenal film, and I'm not saying it because I'm in it. I like the work that Asia does. I mean, he had this sister singing some Billie Holiday type shit on there. I mean, it was a very good film. It sets a high bar for Black independent documentary filmmakers, Black, White, and Blue. I have begged people to look at it, not because I'm in it, but because of the different opinions of Black folks thinking there's nothing else like it. And in fact, as innovative as this film is, nobody dared to try to do something like that. Did you notice that, Brother Schoon? No one even tries to copy you. And I mean, and it's not just me, it's a range of folks. I'm just a little teeny tiny grain of sand on this beach of Black independent thought and media. But I want to say to you, um, what's his name? Tariq Nasheed, Professor Black Truth, the Black Authority, Fly Nubian Queen, We All Be Radio, Dry Bones, Afro Synergy. There are people trying to inform and educate the public. They're doing a hell of a job. I want to say to you that I'm going to the pharmacy in a few minutes, and I'll probably do another program to show y'all drugs, supplements and things you might want to have around in case COVID is in your area. And in fact, you have to be careful. I don't know. I may get put off in case there's any kind of problem, health problem. You may want to take it. Um, but that's the best I can do. So bless the brother here. Um, he's successful, so he doesn't have to beg for sponsorship. But, but my cash app is Dr. Randy Short. That's right. My Instagram is Randy Short 1965. My Patreon is Dr. Randy Short 1965. My Facebook accounts are Randy Lancaster Short, which is open. It has openings. Randy Short, which is full, although I'll take you on Messenger. My Twitter is DRS11965. So let's communicate, or if you want to email me, or if you know someone that's worth interviewing, I'm wrandyshort@gmail.com. That is also my PayPal. So I want to thank all the people. If I were to show you, my phone is being held by a stand. I use the proceeds. I've got microphones and other stuff. Believe it or not, your donations, I've been stocking up. I need to get, I have a green screen, but I want to get some logos. These things cost money because nobody does anything for free in our community except kill, hate, and destroy one another. And we act like that's a full-time job. Amen. So if y'all want to bless me, I will improve my program. In fact, this is an improvement. There will be more cameras, more this, more guests. But bless me with some resources. And by the way, I only mention cash at the beginning and the end. I need to do like Tariq Nasheed, like I'm in a Pentecostal church and just keep asking y'all asses. I need some money in the name of Jesus. I need your money right now. So bad. Count so low, low. Oh, my account needs some money, an infusion of the Holy Spirit. Okay. I could be out there. I could really just take advantage of all the systems and just take money. I love my people too much. And by the way, if you're serious and you're looking for a Black Christian Nationalist Fellowship, you can reach out to me via my email. We don't want more than 20 people because too many niggas and too many problems. Folks lie, cheat. I'm having sex with the goat and my wife, and she don't like his horns and to be able to. Please don't bring that to us. Go to the churches that are used to crap. We're looking to have and SALT Ministries no more than 24 adult Black folks who are concerned about holistic, Black uplifting, Christ-centered ministry. Okay, so we do a Bible study on Thursday. Yes, here's my Bible. And this, you can see it's even been used a little bit. We do talk about God, but a proactive God, a God for justice, a God for economic empowerment, a God that doesn't like racists. He's not a little blonde-haired faggot that hates Black people that says pick my cotton and kiss my ass. I don't believe in that. I'd be an atheist if I believed in a little blue-eyed freak that a lot of folks run after. So you know how to reach me. Brother Curtis Scoon, I release you. I got to go and pick up the bank card for our church ministry, and I got to pick up some drugs. There's a thing called ivermectin. If any of y'all got this bug that went around, take some ivermectin. It's $90. Get a prescription. You can get it. It can keep your heart from being damaged. I'm going to go into this talk, and I'm going to probably get me some doctors on who, and maybe they'll have to speak just into their phone so you can't see their face so they don't get into trouble. And I really want people to come together. Now is the time. Donald Trump has been a golden opportunity. He's made folks so mad. I wish Donald Trump made these Black women so angry that they started thinking. Being angry enough to react, being angry enough to emote isn't good enough. So we need 4 more years. So black folks are so angry. Damn it, I'm going to support Curtis Scoon. Damn it, I'm going to have a farm. Damn it, I'm going to have a business. Damn it, I'm going to start my own school. Damn it, I ain't going to go to a church with a coon pastor with white Jesus and all the literature and all the stained glass windows. I hope we get so mad until we become our better selves. And that's what I have to say. I hope Trump wins. I can't wait. I can't. I want to fall out on the floor and laugh. I'll be out in the street dancing, watching all the coons cry that y'all thought voting for this dude that mass incarcerates y'all and rapes his own kids is going to do something for you. Y'all are stupid. I'm not saying to necessarily the audience, but anyone that believes it is crazy. Okay. Y'all take care. See you, brother Scoon. Love
All
you,
right.
man. Thank you, brother. Thank you,
You're
brother.
welcome.
Thank you, brother. All
Yeah,
right. Bye
man.
bye.
Bye.
Okay, y'all. He's gone. And now it's just me. And yes, I do need to go in and get my drugs my doctor told me to get. I absolutely, and in fact, I don't care. I'm always going to argue with feminists. I'm going to be unreasonable. Feminism is unreasonable. Feminism isn't trying to bring about justice and love between men, women, and children. So as long as they're crazy, I'm going to be crazy too. I could care less if I'm bothering you. Wonderful. I hope all the other black men stop being politically correct about feminism and denounce it. It is a intellectual social disease in our community. We need to be vaccinated from it here and now. And so if I'm driving folks crazy, if I'm driving a black feminist crazy, good. Be afraid, be angry. Black men aren't going to take this garbage off of you anymore. We're not. And for all of you that don't like this, you're going to be even angry when you find it. As soon as COVID is over, we're going to start organizing tours for black men that want to meet women who want to have a traditional family anywhere in the world. We're going to go to Brazil, Honduras, Costa Rica. We will replace you. You will die alone, angry and frustrated. We're not going to beg you to work with us. That's over. You run after the white women and listen to them, and you can't work with us. We'll replace you. Consider your jobs outsourced. And in the words of our great president, pork chop feminist, you're fired. This is Dr. Randy Short, Coonbusters saying, to hell with feminism. We don't care anymore. Of course, I'm for women's rights, you dumb idiots, but I'm against baby killing. I'm against this gender dysphoria. I'm against the destruction of benevolent patriarchy. It must exist. And black men, stop being weak. Stop being feminist allies. And why not be an ally to the righteous sisters that are standing right there waiting for you to be the kind of man you're supposed to be? I'm Dr. Randy Short. I'm certain I made all the folks who are into this liberal doggerel garbage that won't free our people angry. That's my job. Piss y'all off and keep pissing you off and pay me for it. Amen. I'm out of here.